Hey guys, it's Anna here from the Monday show of Fitness Confidential. As you well know, Fat, a documentary, is up on iTunes for pre-order, and we really need you guys to go pre-order it. Open up your iTunes app on any one of your devices, or go to itunes.com, search for Fat, a documentary, or just click on the show notes here and pre-order that documentary so we can go to number one in all of documentaries. We appreciate your support. Go pre-order Fat, a documentary.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Replay Guitar Exchange is your premier independent guitar store. Being independent is good. With all of the major brands, including new, vintage, and pre-owned, you can find the guitar, bass, amp, or accessory you are dreaming of. From vintage to the newest models, Replay Guitar Exchange can help you find that perfect piece. They have industry veteran expert staff, all players like you down to the owner. You aren't just getting a great guitar, you're getting the Replay difference. Find them online at replayguitar.com and find your dream guitar today.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an outerworld bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dirt fucker!
Party time!
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. It is Tuesday. It is 6 p.m., and I got a great show coming up for you. Vinnie Tortorich is live on the line. We'll bring him on in 1 second. Make sure you hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook. And, of course, the show page is Another Effin' Podcast. T-shirts available. Just hit that Shop Now link and all the Facebook pages. If you don't want my horrible T-shirts, you just want to send me money, izzypresley at yahoo.com is your PayPal. The show is not free to put on, but I do not charge you, and I never will charge you because, well, I'm just not that famous. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show, the one and only Vinnie Tortorich. How you doing, buddy?
Wow, we got one clap and it was from you. Look at that.
Hey, at least that's the kind of clap you got from me.
I heard in the previews you had a drop from Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
And of course, it's always my first question. Where's Bobby Brown today? What's she doing?
Bobby Brown is doing stand-up comedy now. Believe it or not. I am serious. She's
hang on. Is she any good?
I don't know. I haven't seen her yet.
Where can we see her?
She'll text me randomly out of the blue just to get me to come to comedy shows. She never texts me to say hi. She texts me to get to her comedy shows, but I have not made it down. She'll do the Comedy Store. She'll do the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, but does she do them on the weekend, or is it like, Tuesday night on stand-up, open mic night? Where is she? That's why I want to know if she's any good, because, this is not an indictment of Bobby Brown, because, as you know, I'm a big Bobby Brown fan. We're both from Louisiana. But when chicks are hot, like Bobby Brown, one of the most beautiful women in the world,
yes,
she can tell any joke. And guys, when she's hot, they're going, oh my God, something hurt. Now take your pants off. Back in the day, that's the way it worked. Now, Bobby Brown, I'm just guessing. I haven't seen her in years. But hell, she's not 22 years old anymore. She's got to be. When she was the cherry pie girl, that had to be, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah, Bobby, I'm 46. I'll be 47. I think Bobby is 47 or 48. I think she's going to be 48 for her next birthday, I think. That's easy to find. Hold on. Let me hit that Google machine.
Yeah, she was born 1969. 69, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so she's old, right. A little bit older than me. 69. Yeah, but yeah, she still looks good.
So she's tapping on 50.
She's tapping on 50. And
she's still hanging in there, huh?
Yeah. Bobby looks great. Last time I saw Bobby, actually, I went to her house, believe it or not. I was in Bobby Brown's bedroom, believe it or not. It was rather cathartic. 18-year-old me would have not believed it at any time that I would ever be in Bobby Brown's bedroom. Granted, I was showing her how to do a podcast.
Hey, did she do the whole? Tell me in your head you weren't doing the whole "I'm not worthy" thing.
Oh, of course I was.
Yeah,
of course I was. I was so in awe that I was there. Even though I know Bobby, I've met Bobby. She's been to my house before to do the show. I walked into her place and she had this grill that was still in the box. And of course, me being nice guy, hey, you need somebody to put that together for you? And she's like, well, yeah, I might. And then she never got back to me. But I was in Bobby's bedroom.
Let me ask this. I'm always intrigued because, back when I had to model for a living, when I first moved out here, it's thankless work. It's mindless work. But I knew a lot of those girls that did the videos, right? A lot of video fixins, and we were close friends. And I always wonder what happened to those girls. I mean, how's Bobby living today? And when I say Bobby, I'm not just talking about Bobby. I'm talking about all of them. How do they? I mean, is Bobby living in a one-room apartment in Encino, or is it more? She's got her crap together.
No, she has her shit together. She has a townhouse. I'm sure she packed away a little of that money from the TV show because she was on the Ex-Wives of Rock that ran for, 3 seasons or 2 seasons or something like that. So I hope she packed some money away. But
who is she married to?
She was married to Janie Lane from Warrant.
Oh, so she married one of the Cherry Pie singers.
Yeah. Actually, and Janie's the reason she got in that video because he wanted her. He saw her on Star Search and goes, I need that girl in my video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I the only person that asks you about Bobby Brown?
No, it happens when I go home. When I get back to central Minnesota, like, what's it like hanging out with Bobby Brown? And of course, I don't make the story bigger than it actually is because, that's not me. And plus, it's so easy to find out when people are lying about that shit now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you can easily go on the internet and figure it out.
Absolutely. So, Vinny, you just got back from a European trip, right?
Yeah, I was in Europe for over 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And I'm still a bit jet lagged. That's why I'm sounding a little weird right now. And I also caught the world's worst cold while I was there.
Oh, shit. That's not good. You were hiking, right?
Yeah. I guess you'd call it hiking, climbing. I did Mont Blanc, which is considered the deadliest mountain in the world. And it's also the highest point in Europe. So I climbed the highest mountain in Europe and the deadliest mountain. You would think K2 or Everest would be the deadliest, but more people climb Mont Blanc, so there's more chances of people dying.
I'm assuming you didn't bring your lazy nephew with you for this one?
No. That's funny that you even know that story. I guess, did you hear it on my show?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is when that happened last year, I turned to my buddy, Don Coddington, the billionaire, and I said, I'm tired of this. I tried for 2 years to get my nephews. Izzy, it's one of these things. I want these guys to experience what I've experienced, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I've always been an outdoor guy. I was just listening to Ted Nugent on the Adam Carolla show today. I was mad at Adam. I was with Adam yesterday, and I was mad at him because he didn't bring me on that show. It's like, wait a minute, you bring Jeff Cesario? That's who you choose to be on the same show? I need to meet this guy, right? He's a rock legend.
Yep.
And I don't know how you feel about him.
I love him.
Yeah, and and Adam goes, man, it was really a great show. You got to listen. So I went and pulled it up today. I guess that happened maybe a week or two ago while I was gone. And just listening to that guy talk, and I know his politics and people are, oh, he's a jerk and this and that and the whole thing. I don't care about politics, as you know. I care about the man, and I love his music. And listening to him talk about hunting and getting kids out there to these camps and getting them in the outdoors and the whole thing, I'm going, I want to call up Ted and go volunteer, because I tried to do that with my nephews, and it came at great financial expense to house two nephews out here and fly them in and put them up in a nice place in Mammoth. And then from there, going into a tent and buying extra tents, extra sleeping bags, extra everything. I don't know if last time you went to REI, but none of that stuff is cheap.
Right.
And they couldn't care less. They just couldn't care less, and it really didn't really hurt my feelings. But I was like, wow, how can they not care? And I tried 2 summers in a row. And after the second summer, I turned to my buddy Don and I said, next year, I'm just going somewhere else. I'm not coming to Mammoth anymore. I'm not climbing Whitney this year. And he goes, I'm coming with you. And he had already climbed the Matterhorn and some of that stuff. So he knew his way around that part of Europe. But it was a good experience. We both had a great time.
That's awesome. Well, I suppose it was nice for you to get away from Twitter for a while.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't tweet for several days on end.
Yeah, I know. I follow you. There was no Vinnie outrage. I was rather disappointed. That's why I emailed you that one. And I did want to talk about that photo that I screenshotted from Twitter. Let's see. Hold on. Let me pull that up so I can read it correctly, because I got your typical Jesus H. Christ response. This gal tweeted this article from the times.co.uk, said obesity tops smoking as main cause of cancers. And her tweet said Tatiana McGrath was this gal's name, and I can tell that she's probably not the thinnest gal in the world. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's her life, whatever. Yet more fat shaming from the medical community. There is literally zero evidence that obesity can lead to an early death. My Aunt Lucinda works in a hospice for the dying and elderly, and they're all skinny as fuck. How do you explain that one, doctors?
Well, you can explain it by saying that, number one, they're very old.
Yep.
And they're going to die. That's what happens to old people. They die.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, people who end up in hospice care are either very old or they have some kind of life-threatening disease where they can't live on their own and they just go there to die.
Yep.
To say that, we call the term, once you hit a certain height and weight, is called morbid obesity.
Yep.
They don't call it that because they're just trying to add a term to obesity. It's morbid because you're going to die. You're going to die sooner. You're going to die of complications. A couple of them come to mind: type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, which used to only be for alcoholics, but now it's for it's for people who are morbidly obese. Sleep apnea. Just a host of things that happen, to these people. Mm-hmm. High blood sugar, off the charts, you just name it and they have it. To say that, for that woman to make that comment is just, at best, asinine.
Yeah.
And I've never shamed a fat person in my life. Hell, I've been working with fat people for the better part of 40 years. I have no reason to shame anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that that's fat shaming is wrong. We got to stop with all this bullshit, feeling like you're shamed every time someone else opens their mouth. I mean, we have to get over it. We're not. That's not the world. And like online, you see it. They call me Gran Torino and all the stuff, and that's fine. Call me what you will. But I'm not wrong.
No,
I'm not wrong for trying to save people's lives.
How do we get back to that spot where people just can't get so goddamn offended, especially when, I mean, obviously if you can't say anything about somebody's weight because obviously you're automatically considered an asshole, but how do you get to the point where you can try to help somebody without, trying to sound like that now?
I look at it the same as if someone had one leg blown off and they're bleeding out from that limb, right? Mm-hmm. And, they're bleeding out and you're sitting there talking to them going, hey, what's happening? Everything okay? What are we going to do here? And they're just bleeding out. I mean, that would be crazy to even think, right? Mm-hmm. They was, start yelling at you, hey, I'm bleeding out. Please put a tourniquet on, dial 911, do something. Yet when someone is 400 pounds, we have to pretend, that they don't have a problem. Yeah. We can see the problem, right? Mm-hmm. But we're not allowed to address it.
Right.
And look, like I said, every day I encounter 300, 400, 500, 600-pound people. That's what I do for a living. And we don't sugarcoat the fact that they're going to die if they don't do something right away or sooner than right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I just wish we could get to a place where you weren't an asshole for doing that,
Well, I think people become assholes online because, we have these keyboard cowboys and,
yeah,
people can say whatever they want. And there's no reason to just fat shame someone for the sake of fat shaming them.
Right.
Or shaming anyone for any reason. But when we start calling, metabolic problem fat shaming, well, that's a whole different problem. Now we have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. How hard is it? I mean, how hard has it been for you? Do you get a lot of blowback for what you try to do?
A little bit, but people don't usually mess with me a whole lot because, as you know, I don't take a whole lot.
Right.
So you could come at me, but I'm not going to just fold tent and go home. If you come at me, you're in for an assload of hurt. Mm-hmm. Because, as someone said to me, why are you always correct? I said, because I don't open my mouth unless I'm correct.
Right.
If I know I'm going to be wrong about something, I'll just shut my mouth. And I know that sounds horrible, but, look, these vegan doctors go after everyone. They don't go after me so much. And you start asking yourself, well, why don't they go after you? What's different about you? Well, what's different about me is I'm not going to give you a buy round. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get in there and scrap it up, with you. And they know that I'm well educated on their thoughts and beliefs. And I'm not going to just sit there and, they know that every time they put out one of their bullshit propaganda things, I'm going to come back and hammer them.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
Right. If we have any new listeners that aren't familiar with Vinnie has a very successful podcast called Fitness Confidential. And he's the no sugar, no grain guy. And can you explain to people kind of the difference between keto and no sugar, no grain? Because a lot of people just lump all that shit in together. Not that it's shit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're pretty close. You could draw a straight line from Atkins to keto to low carb to NSNG, which is my brand, or even paleo, and then carnivore. They all have nuances. Mm-hmm. I've been working for the past 30 some of my 40 years telling people to just cut out sugars and grains. If you can do that, it's pretty easy. If it's a sugar, if it's a grain, cut it out, you'll lose weight. Do you have to be in dietary ketosis to do that, or keto? No. Some people are not. If you're eating enough vegetables and so on and so forth, then you won't be in dietary ketosis. You'll have traces of ketones in your pee and in your blood. Mm-hmm. and you can use those, and you become more metabolically flexible with NSNG. When you're in strict keto, now you're not using much of glucose at all. You're using ketone bodies. When you're carnivore, it's very, very restrictive because now you're basically you're just using meat and eggs, and it works like a charm. And a lot of people have been helped and saved because of it. I mean, from really bad health problems. So I don't have a problem with it. The only time I have a problem with any of it is when you have, keto. Now you have all these keto bars and keto food and keto snacks, and they're not really keto. They're just, fake sugars and erythritol and everything else. It was funny. I was just at KetoCon. There's about 3,000 people there. And I made the comment every time I went to the bathroom, it looked like a Jackson Pollock painting in there because all these people are trying all these sugar-free keto treats. And after you try enough of them, you go up and down the aisle, you're going to shit your pants if you don't make it to the bathroom pretty quickly. So the bathroom was like a Jackson Pollock. So that's proof that your body doesn't want that stuff. So that's kind of the difference.
And there's a lot of people that just go, oh, it's just another fad diet and this will pass. And, the way they've taught us is, and we're going to get into all that in the second half of the show with the movie, because the movie explains that. Even though I haven't seen it yet, I can tell from the preview that the movie explains that. What do you say? What do you say to people when they try to say, oh, it's just a fad and it's not healthy?
I've been hearing that for 30 years. And, the only people that's really saying that are dietitians who are losing their stronghold on the industry. So, oh, yeah, these people are just fads. They're kooks. It's a religion. It's a cult. I hear it all. I get called Jim Jones and, so on and so forth. But it's not a fad. It's not a cult because, we created a problem. And if you look around, if you look at my Twitter, or my Instagram or Adam Carolla's Instagram, where people are going, hey, look how much weight I lost, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, losing 200 and 300 pounds, And, how could you call that a fad?
Right.
And they'll say, oh, you can't stick to it long term. Well, these people are sticking to it very, very long term. So, I don't buy that for 1 second.
Well, and then you see the commercials for all these diets and diet plans. And the one that I see all the time now is, you see this gal go, I tried cutting out carbs for a day. It's like, well, that's not even doing it.
Right. It takes, and that's the thing. What we suggest is there's no trickery involved. And people go, wait, I have to do what? And I said, you have to change your diet. You have to eat like this. Well, when can I go back to a regular diet? And my answer is always, you mean the one that got you here? You want to go back to that? You're not going to end up looking like Bobby Brown if you're doing that.
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, and one of the things that I got from one of my best friends, and, he's into working out and yada, yada, yada. And he's like, well, dude, I get what he's saying, but you got to have carbs.
Yeah, I just climbed Mont Blanc, which is, I was on a rope with a kid. We were on the same rope. He was a 33-year-old triathlete who's done, the Ironman distance triathletes, the long ones. And he turned to me at one point and he said, this is tougher than any triathlon I've ever done. So think about that. We're climbing up to almost 16,000 feet above sea level. We're hammering up this mountain. He was having sugar every 20 minutes. I went all the way to the top, fat adapted. The only thing I ate, one of my sponsors called F-Bomb gave me a ton of product. I took 2 of their nut butters with MCT oil along the way within an 8.5-hour outing for that last trip. And they have like these little sausage sticks that are 75% fat. That's all I had. 2 of the sausage sticks and 2 of the little packets of nut butter with MCT oil, which is fat, right? and easily beat a 33-year-old triathlete up the hill and down the hill. And I'm almost 57 years old.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely insane. But it's amazing. It's amazing. And a lot of people always say, well, you got to cut salt out. That salt is bad for you.
This is a 40-ounce bottle of water. Mm-hmm. This is my second one today. For everyone else, it's 105 where I live today. I live in the deepest, darkest valley. I think it's hot where you are too, Izzy.
Yep.
When you're in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had 40 plus half of this. Let's call it 60 ounces of water. I've put salt in both of these bottles. If you could taste this right now, it tastes like ocean water. So salt being bad for you, again, that's another one of those demonized things. There's nothing bad when it comes to salt. Not that I've ever been able to see.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, well, it just helps you makes you retain water and retain fluids.
Do I look like I'm retaining fluid?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well,
go on.
Let's do this. Let's take a short break, about a minute and a half, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the movie, which is called Fat, a documentary, which I am rather excited about. And dive into that. I'm going to say this, though. I was kind of bummed you couldn't make it in studio because I still haven't gotten any of your coffee yet.
We got to send you some. Hit me up. I'm going to be gone until the second week of August again. Mm-hmm. Hit me up at the end of August. We'll send you some coffee.
Cool. Yeah, Vinny has a coffee at purecoffeeclub.com. Yeah. And then also a vitamin company. And we'll jump into that a little bit too after we talk about the movie. But we'll be right back with the one and only Vinnie Tortorich on another fucking podcast. Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor. Fucking A.
All right. That was Craig Gass doing the Tom Arnold impression, in case you were wondering.
I thought it was Tom Arnold. It was like, how the hell do you get Tom Arnold?
I'm not that big yet, Vinny. I'm not that big. So the movie is available for pre-order now on iTunes and Amazon. Those two places right now, correct?
And Vimeo. You can get
okay. And Vimeo. I guess the number one question is this movie a direct response to What the Health?
Well, that was the final. What the Health was the final straw.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, my podcast has been around for, I don't know, close to 8 years. And people would say to me after they would lose weight, they would go, hey, my friend just saw Cowspiracy or Forks Over Knives or any of the vegan propaganda movies, and they're telling me I'm going to kill myself eating the way you're telling me to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And as my, thing got bigger online, that noise got bigger, right? And then once Adam Carolla started bringing me on 4 years ago, that noise got really big. People would write to Adam Carolla and go, you're going to get sued out of existence for having this guy on. Apparently I'm a lightning rod of some sort. And people kept saying, after What the Health came on, that was the final kind of blow. And people started saying, hey, maybe you should do a propaganda film, the opposite of that. And I said, well, what good is that going to do? I'm trying to help people. Why lie to people? And, the general public was going, well, they're lying. Well, why can't you lie? They're telling a big lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because that's not going to get anyone anywhere.
Right.
How about I just tell the truth? That, why lie when the truth is better than the lie? Right? So we set out, and I think you had Peter Pardini on your show. The kid is absolutely brilliant. And, Peter and I started talking. We met at the Adam Carolla show. One thing led to another. I don't know if he told the story, but he was like, yeah, you should do this movie, and I would like to direct it. And he was just coming off of a big movie, the story about the band Chicago, now more than ever. And he was winning awards and the whole thing. I was like, wait, you want to do a movie with me? And he was like, yeah, you could do this. And I was like, well, I don't think I can raise the money. And he said, no, dude, you're big enough to raise the money online. And I said, I don't think so. So even at the beginning, when we started raising the money, there was no thought in my mind that we would get what we needed.
Yeah.
We only needed 150. I said I would put 50 of my own money in to get it to 200. We ended up getting to well over $250,000, and I still had to put way more than 50 of my own money in just to get it rolling. So I'm behind the 8 ball as much as anyone.
Right. Well, and everybody knows that documentaries don't make money, so you're obviously not doing this to make money. I mean, it would be nice.
No, I'm doing it to get more hate mail for what I. It's just one foot in front of the other, and before I knew it, I was saying action, to someone in front of a camera, and the people who showed up, once we had the money in place. It was like if I had a dream team who's who list of doctors from around the world, Dr. Andreas Ehrenfeld, Dr. Westman, Dr. Brett Shear, Dr. Gerber,
Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew Pinsky. And by the way, Drew really brought the goods. I kind of stunt casted Drew for the movie because the joke is Adam Carolla never puts him in his movie, so I said, all right, I'll put him in my movie. Drew really brought the goods.
Yeah.
He is a mainstay in the movie. This guy, Dave Feldman and Ivor Cummins and Nina Teichel's multi-bestseller, Gary Taub's multi-bestselling author. All of these people were like showing up at my house. Even the guy, we opened the film with Jim Abrams, the guy who did all the Naked Gun movies and Airplane and all that. The movie opens with Jim Abrams weeping on camera. I mean, it's a very, very strong moment. And I remember when we were shooting that, it was like on one of the last days of shooting, and it was in the middle of his interview, and he was so touched by what had happened to his own son, Charlie, and the guy just started welling up. And I turned to Peter behind the camera and I said, I don't care what we do. We're opening a fucking movie with Jim Abrams crying. Right. And I didn't have a vision of what that would look like, but what Peter was able to do and figure out, because Peter's just, in my mind, a genius. It really, once you see that, you go, wow, what's going on here?
Well, and I don't know if everybody knows Peter's story, but his son was having seizures, correct?
Not Peter, Jim's son, yeah.
Oh, Jim, yeah, Jim. That's what I meant.
Yeah, Jim is basically running Hollywood at this point. You know, the brand Abrams Zucker were, you know, if there was a funny movie in Hollywood, they were doing it.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Airplane.
And he's married. Yeah, he's married to this beautiful woman, and they have this kid. I think it's their second kid. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. And the kid starts having seizures when he's not even a year old. And they, you know, because Jim Abrams has a lot of money, he's able to go to the best doctors in the world, right? And this kid is having seizures in the arms of the head of the Mayo Clinic, the Boston Clinic, this clinic, that clinic. He's having, you know, seizures in all these doctors' arms. And the most they could figure out to do was to sedate the kid with a lot of drugs. They had done a brain surgery on young Charlie, and they were getting ready to do a second one, basically lobotomies. And the kid would have just been, you know, nothing.
Right.
You know, pieces of his brain. And Jim walked into a library like the day before the surgery in the medical hospital and found a book on seizures, and just it like miraculously opened to a page that talked about the keto diet. And he starts reading, and he ran into the head of surgery and said, what's this? You know, why aren't you guys trying this? And he goes, we haven't tried all the drugs yet. And he goes, but you're getting ready to cover my kid tomorrow. You know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And by the way, we have that doctor on film saying, yeah, we hadn't exhausted all the medications and all the drugs. So we were going to try that first. We knew about the keto diet, but we weren't going to try it, which makes no sense.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. Well, yeah, in the preview, there's somebody talking about medication and how influential that is in the medical community as opposed to something like this.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned earlier KetoCon, and I brought 18 minutes because I was the keynote speaker there. And to be quite honest, I was being lazy and I didn't want to have to write an hour-long speech. So I got Peter to edit down 18 minutes of the movie, just different pieces, and bring it all together as a little short movie. So I went up on stage and talked for 5 minutes, and I went, hey, who wants to see the movie, a piece of the movie? And, you know, 1,000 people went, oh, my God, you're going to show the movie. And I was standing in the audience, watching the audience, and everyone was pinned to that screen. And by the way, this is not me bragging about something I did.
Right.
This is me bragging about these doctors and what they brought to the show and what they're saying. And these people are just pinned to these screens up on the stage and, you know, just kind of shaking their heads. And some people were crying. As a matter of fact, I took questions at the end of the movie. And the first 2 or 3 people who came up to ask a question was choking back tears. You know, that's how powerful this piece is. And again, it has nothing to do with me. It's all Peter Pardini.
Right.
It's Gary Taubes. It's Nina Teichos. It's Jim Abrams. You know, and Ian Felt, and it's what these people brought to the show. Dr. Drew.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm assuming that this movie isn't just a big promotion for No Sugar, No Grain. This is actually diving into science and what we've been taught. Correct?
Everyone who's seen the movie, if you notice on iTunes, has been reviewed over 100 times, which means well over 100 people have seen it to do those reviews. The one comment I get back is, hey, you never mentioned your No Sugars, No Grains at all in the movie. And I said, well, because it's not a movie promoting me or anything else.
Right.
it's just a movie showing you not what happened over the past 50 years, because that's kind of where the problem started.
Mm-hmm.
We went back 160 years and showed a whole history of what was happening 160 years ago and how all of that culminated through the 60s. And by the time we got to the 70s, in the McGovern Committee with Ansel Keys running roughshod over the government with his crap, exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just see obesity rising. We show a graph in the movie. As all that's going on, obesity just keeps going up and up and up, and now we're breaking under the weight of our own weight.
Right. Well, and, a lot of people, they don't understand how nutrition has changed. And what I mean by that is you look at your grandparents and the ones that were farmers, dipping the bread in the bacon grease and, just fucking indulging, and they weren't dying of this stuff. But now we are. Well,
people, one of the big questions I get all the time is how did I know so early in my life about all of this? It's like, how did you know? And I said, because of my grandparents and great-grandparents. We were Italian, and you would think Italians are going to just sit around and eat pasta all day.
Right.
That's what you would think. You watch the movies, and that's what they show. But in fact, pasta was what you had when you didn't have enough meat to fill out your diet,
mm-hmm.
right? It was a side dish. Pasta didn't become like a big mound of food until somewhere near the mid-'80s when a book called Eat to Win came out that said, fat burns in the flame of carbohydrates, which it was the biggest pile of bullshit I had ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
But, just listen to my grandmother saying, hey, don't eat starches, you're going to get fat. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
They called them starches. Don't eat too many starches. Eat your meat. Eat some cheese. Don't eat that other crap. It's going to make you fat. So people go, how did you know? And my question to everyone my age is, how did you not know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's all right there. I mean, you can see it happen. You know?
It's happening right in front of us. It happened in my lifetime.
Yeah, right.
Boom, right in front of me. And I started noticing people getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And that's one of the reasons, Bobby Brown moved out here to shake her moneymaker. I moved here from New Orleans because...
You wanted to wear a conch shell?
Yeah, that's exactly why I came out. Thanks, I let it go away. Dr. Drew didn't know about the conch shell until last night.
Really? How is that possible?
I have no idea. Because he's Drew, that's why.
Okay, that's why. I would love to interview him sometime. I bet he'd be a fun interview for me.
I'd like getting him on. But no, I was doing his show, and Gary said, his producer said, you've never seen a conch shell. And, of course, they always have it at the ready when I'm in Corolla.
Of course. Yeah. I'm gonna assume in the movie, too, that you get into the cholesterol myths and all that stuff as well?
Big time. We debunked the whole cholesterol myth. Brett Shear, cardiologist, helps do that. Dr. Eric Westman helps debunk it. Gary Taubes, debunks it big time.
Mm-hmm.
It was all based on nothing.
Right. Because I've had people that I've tried to explain this diet to, and it's so good, and I'm horrible. I know. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm fucking terrible. But one of the responses I get is, well, I have naturally high cholesterol. I can't do that.
Yeah. If people knew that cholesterol really doesn't cause heart disease, and I know it makes me sound like a charlatan,
mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. There is nothing about cholesterol that will cause heart disease.
Right.
It just doesn't exist.
Well, and I think there might be a myth out there, too, is that you're just paying these doctors to come on and do this, and it's just a money grab for them, and that they don't really believe this stuff. But it's actually stone cold fact.
Yeah, nobody was paying anybody in this movie. I can tell you that.
Right.
And by the way, these doctors go to these clinics and everything. I run into them. KetoCon, there was a bunch of them. I'm going to be at Low Carb San Diego in a couple of days, I think. Yeah, it's coming up this weekend. And no one's getting rich. No one's getting paid at these events. They're just not. And that's just the long and the short of it.
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, people have this impression, you've already addressed it, but that this is just going to be a propaganda thing and it's, just a response to what the health. So, but I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's the real deal.
One of the things I'm going to do eventually, I have all the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I will start putting them out. I might have to charge a couple of $2 or $3 per interview,
mm-hmm.
but I have all the long form interviews,
Yeah.
And, because of the bandwidth of me doing it myself, I'll just put them up online and go, hey, you think I'm lying about what Gary Taubes said? You think I cooked that information?
Mm-hmm.
Here's 98 minutes of Gary Taubes talking without drawing a breath.
Right.
You think Dr. Georgia Eads came down from Harvard and just started spewing bullshit? Here's 64 minutes of her not drawing a breath.
Right. So you actually got somebody from Harvard who believes what you believe, who knows what you believe.
Yeah.
Because Harvard's typically the vegan place, the vegan university.
They try to pretend it's not, but there's a guy there named Walter Willett,
mm-hmm.
and he is literally, taking money from Unilever. You can see a direct line of millions coming from Unilever,
mm-hmm.
and then he's paying off his scientists to squint their eyes and come up with whatever he wants them to come up with.
Right.
All right. It's all scary stuff.
Mm-hmm. Ben, did you say you have to go at 10 to 7 or 10 after 7?
I said 10 of 7, but we got another 5 minutes.
Okay, that's cool. Because
it's my daughter, not a big deal.
No, it's just your daughter. Whatever. No, we can wrap up here really quick, but I do want to know. What did I want to know? I forgot what I was going to fucking ask you now. That's awesome.
Talking about Walter Willett. We were talking about Harvard.
We were talking about Harvard. If there's one thing you want people to take from this movie, what do you want them to get out of it?
I hate to sound like Blues Traveler 4, but look around.
Mm-hmm.
Just look around. Don't take my word for it. Let this movie be the spark to make you go, Google that shit, as the kids like to say.
Right.
I'm not making this stuff up. Look, I don't make a dime on this.
Mm-hmm.
I just poured more than a year of my life into doing this movie. And God only knows, as my friend Adam Carolla said, don't do documentaries if you want to get rich.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a labor of love. Just look around, as the great John Popper would say.
And people want to pre-order it. You want to tell them how to pre-order it and give all your info out, your Twitter, Instagram, and all that kind of good shit?
Yeah. The movie is called Fat, F-A-T, Fat, a documentary. And it's up for pre-order on iTunes. It's up for pre-order on Vimeo. And you can get Blu-ray and also regular DVDs on Amazon. You might want to put those in the show notes. I don't know if you do show notes or whatever.
I can.
But that's there. Also, Vinnie Tortorich .com. If you put in, I'll tell you guys a little secret. If you put in Vinnie Tortorich /learn, it takes you right to a free 27 or 28 page PDF that I put out there. It's been downloaded over 200,000 times. Had I charged $10 a pop for that, I would have a lot of money in my pocket. But I'm stupid like that. Still giving it away for free. I don't know how much longer it's going to be free.
Yeah, start charging for that so you can hire me.
If I charge for that, I would probably get more because people, take things more seriously.
Yeah.
Even if it's $10, they'll take it more seriously if you charge for it. So I might do a social experiment at some point. I feel like I've given it away for so long. But as of this podcast, it's still free. So feel free to go download the PDF and there you have it.
There you go. And the podcast is Fitness Confidential, which is available on iTunes. And where else is it available? Do you know?
It's on iTunes, Stitcher. I think I'm on Pandora. I'm one of those. When you get a certain number, they all just put you on, and sometimes vote you without your permission. You know?
Right.
So
all right.
Stealing on the internet, I guess. So yeah, you can find me anywhere, and the book is called Fitness Confidential, and it's on Amazon.
And purecoffeeclub.com and purevitaminclub.com. I think the multivitamin would be good for me because I'm not.
We need to get you some because you don't look like you get any sun.
Well, it's because I sleep during the day and I drive at night. Oh, I got listener feedback for you. Scotty from Canada, who's I always say this when I want to have you on. I don't care how many people listen to the show as long as I help at least one person. And Scotty is one of these guys that you've helped. He says, I'm proud to say that from Vinny and Izzy, I've not had an energy drink since November and now been cold turkey from Pop for over 2 months. It's the beginning of him getting healthier. The PDF is magical. Thank you, Vinny.
Izzy, now if we can only get you to stop drinking Pop and all that crap.
I know. Well, see, and that's the problem is like, and I've told you this, like when I work nights and I'm in my car for fucking 10 hours and it's just so goddamn hard. And I Vinny, I try. I had a little hospital thing a couple weeks ago, and which I'm going to have to pay for, which I probably won't. I should have just said I identify as an illegal. I could have got it for free. But I had a conversation with an older dude about it. He goes, let me guess, pee problems? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It's like basically I can find out I'm old. But anyways, I got done with that, and I'm like, I just drank water for a while, and then, I started working. It's like I just have one, and then boom, there it goes again. And it sucks. It sucks.
Gotta get off, brother. Gotta get you away from that stuff.
I know. Vinny, dude, thank you so much. You're always welcome on the show. Anytime you have something to promote. I love you, brother. And let's shoot. I want to go shooting. I want to fire some guns.
Whenever you're ready, man.
Man, you just say, whenever you have time, you say the word. I'll come out and do it.
When I get back to town late August, I'm traveling all the way up until Thanksgiving, but I'll be back in town for weeks at a time.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm trying to get out there myself, man. It's been tough this year.
No, I get it, man. Well, you're a busy dude. Vinnie Tortorich, hit him up at Vinnie Tortorich, I-E, no wimpy Y. And pre-order the movie. Vinny, thank you again, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Izzy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Vinnie Tortorich. That's right. Let me hit the outro music. Oh, Sledgehammer checking in. You don't have to ask him this unless you run out of things to talk about. Always the littlest, blah, blah. Oh, shit. I will, you know what? I'm going to send him that, and I will send you his response. Let's see. Meatitarian. No, dude. Look, this is the thing. Meat is healthy. Red meat is healthy. Just get rid of the pasta and the fast food. You'll be fine, brother. You'll be fine. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And like I said, I don't care if you only help one person. If I only help one person with this, but pre-order the movie because this movie is going to change it's going to blow your mind compared to what we've been taught nutritionally growing up and to this day. So I'll be back on Thursday with the Izzy Presley Show and working on the guest for next week because Chris Wise was, rescheduled. Don't forget, when I lack in talent, I make up for a cock. It is another fucking podcast.